Hello, good afternoon, everyone. How are we all? Let's pop the comments on. How are we? Hopefully you can hear me. I'll just wait for a thumbs up from somebody there. I can see there's a good few of you here actually, which is great. So once I get the thumbs up that you can see me and hear me, then we can carry on. So, brilliant. Hi, Rebecca. How are you? Thank you for that. Loud and clear. Oh, brilliant. Hi, Beverly. That's great. That's great. So, yeah, we've got a good few of you watching actually, which is great because if you remember from Lisa's Friday Night Live, if you watched, that we are only streaming on YouTube at the moment, just to allow Facebook to just sort itself out, I think. But yeah, so today I'm only coming to you on YouTube, and obviously I can see that's where you're all tuning in from, which is perfect. So I'm glad that lots of you either remembered or you got the invite to say that I'm on. If you are watching and you've happened to stumble across us and you like what you see and you want to follow Lisa and keep up to date with all of Lisa's lives, Lisa Horton's lives, and also the lives from Cheryl and Paola and from Catherine also, then we would really, really love you to subscribe to our channel. You won't get bombarded with anything, but if you do want to keep up to date, we ask that you press the little bell that's in the corner. I think it's on the right hand side, and because that will also notify you each time that there is a new video uploaded, or each time we're about to go live. You just get a little ping on your phone if you've got your notifications on as well. But it's really useful if you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We do an awful lot on here. There's an awful lot of videos, there's an awful lot of content that we've been working on over the past 4 or 5 years. It's a really, really good resource, and I like to call it a library of all of the releases that Lisa has brought out. Now, we're managing to keep up to date with all the current releases and all the new designs that come up, but there is a really, really good back catalogue of all the previous designs. There's hints and tips, there's techniques, there's short videos. Natalia does the short reels as well, which are brilliant. Just there's no talking in them actually. She's put really lovely music, so it's just really nice just to sort of little tidbits just to get your imagination working. Sometimes you just need that little kickstart, don't you, just to get you crafting on the day, especially if you know you want to make something but you're a bit overwhelmed with everything that Lisa's brought out and that you've got on your desk, things you haven't tried. So yeah, there's an awful lot of content on YouTube, and we would love if you subscribe to us. Also, as you can probably see here, I just wanted to remind you that we are also running a competition at the moment. Now, this is over social media. It doesn't involve watching anything, but we do want to see those of you who have received your lovely, beautiful new die cutting machine. And all we ask you to do is to either put into the Crafting with Lisa Horton Facebook group or on socials, whether it be on Instagram as well. But if you can use that hashtag that's there, Platty Green. If you didn't hear the explanation on Friday from Lisa, that's basically sort of been inspired by the Queen's Jubilee. Do you remember when that came out? Everyone was talking about like the Platty Jubes. It was one of those things that I was a bit late to the party on. It's not a term that necessarily I used, but it really caught everyone's imagination. So we really sort of want to get the same sort of vibe, because the excitement over Lisa launching this gorgeous new machine was just really, really huge, and we just want to carry that on. And there's a little competition running until the 14th of March, which is Friday, when Lisa will be choosing a winner. I think it might be a random a random choice of winners. So and there'll be a lovely prize to go out to you. So if you have your die cutting machine, take a photo of it, perhaps tell us if you've given it a name. I know there's been a few photos come out with people who actually, their cats have sort of made their homes into the boxes as well. So any little story that you have alongside a photo of your machine, if you can put the hashtag Lisa Horton Crafts and Platty Green, we love to see them and join in the excitement of receiving your new machine. Now, I'm yet to still receive my machine. I haven't got one yet. It's definitely on my list of things to do, but I've been sensible. I had to be super sensible because my car is giving me grief this month. So yes, I had to be sensible and spend on that. But as soon as I possibly can, which won't be in the too distant future, I must admit, I'll be getting this machine as well. Because, well, why not? It'll just match in it all of the other Lisa Horton Craft things that I've got, and it's a gorgeous green. So yeah. Okay, so looks like Lisa's watching. Is that you, Lisa? There in the background. So yeah, Lisa's just reiterating, please take a photograph of your machines in your craft space as well. You don't necessarily need to tidy up your craft desk. That isn't necessarily a true representation of a craft room unless you're a super tidy crafter, in which case then obviously then that's what we'd love to see as well. So yeah, everybody, if you want to join in and have the chance of a prize, and that'd be great. So let me see who's with us. Florna Healing, everything. Your car is giving you grief as well. Oh, honestly, I feel it with you. Have empathy with you, absolutely. Yeah, my car, it's had a few naughty words shouted at it, and it's still not right, but oh, it's drivable at least. Anyway, who else do we have with us? We have Marion. Oh, Marion was the first one in. And Jean. Hi, Sue. Yes, there's a cold wind here as well today, Sue, and the sun's just gone in actually. So a cup of tea and the heating on sounds perfect. We have Debbie and Lisa, and Tracy, Kathy. Hello, Tina. And Beverly. Are you crafting along with us today, Beverly? Do you have the compositions already? Did you manage to get them from Hobby Maker? Now, the other thing actually I wanted to do, as well as sharing the competition and also going through a demo with the brand new compositions for you, is to let you know that the compositions are due to be on Lisa's website. Is it this week, Lisa? Is it this Friday? And they will be available individually, which is great news. So some of you may have already got them in the bundles from Hobby Maker. There was the large bundle with them all, and then there was 2 other bundles, or in sets of, was it 3 or 4? Can't remember. But anyway, they will be available individually on Lisa's website, and Lisa will just confirm to us in a minute, hopefully, that I have a feeling that it is, oh, is it this Friday? My memory is terrible. Anyway, yeah, so it was really nice to actually be able to come on to you with you today, do this live. I'm just going to focus on this set. I have 2 sets with me, and I shall probably do a live with the other set next week, because I think it's important to build up a library of Lisa's designs. Yes, this Friday. They've been released this Friday. Perfect. Yeah, I think it's important to have sort of individual videos dedicated to a particular set, because there is so much that you can do with them. It comes in a little A6 folder, which is really cute. You get so much for your money. Now you can see here that I have set D. This is the zigzags and the stripes. Now I'm just going to pull these out. Now I've already taken mine off the card that they come on and set them onto a magnetic strip or magnetic sheet here. I'm terrible at losing things, and there's lots of dies here, as you can see, and lots of fine little dies like this little one that you can see here as well. So I find it easier onto a magnetic sheet. I also have these extra 2 here, which I usually put on the reverse. And actually, when you get the mounting card, when you open them up for the first time, do remember to turn over the card that they're mounted on, because you will see some extra dies on the back here as well. So you can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dies in this set. So there's an awful lot of metal to come out of this little A6 envelope. And these 2 dies, these are single dies, but you can cut 1, 2, 3, 4 elements out. 4 elements from this one and 5 elements from this one. So these 2 dies in themselves are actually multitasking and die cutting more than one element for you. Now, also what comes in each envelope for each of the compositions is a little prompt card, and it's a little postcard size, and Lisa has given us 4 designs to get you started. Now, these aren't the only designs, obviously, that you can make, and as you would have seen from all the design team samples in the Facebook group, the amount of the designs that you can create is exhaustive, and there's no way Lisa could have given you all of those. But if you are new to die cutting and this may be your very first die setting or die set that you've purchased, perhaps even along with Lisa's machine, this gives you 4 ideas just to get started. Gives you the idea, and then once you've done the die cutting and you've pieced them together, then you'll find that you'll start formulating all of your own ideas and play in different colors and whatever. I mean, even if you just created these 4 designs and changed up the colors each time, you'll have an awful lot of fun, and you'll have an awful lot of cards made that you can either gift or box up into box sets or even sell. Because remember, if you make up the cards, don't do all the die cutting, make up the cards, you are then able and you are free to sell those made up cards. That is definitely part of Lisa's angel policy. So yeah, it's a great one to get started, and this is a really versatile set actually. So I'll just show you a couple that I've already made. What I want to show you also today is how perfect this particular set and it is for making cards for the guys, and actually making quite generic cards. I mean, even this one here, it's got pinks and purples on it, but it's also got the blues and the greys. So I still, it's ready to give to anybody of any age, and I think that's what's perfect about the composition dies also. If you're just stuck on and your mojo isn't quite working at its best, or you get a little bit frustrated, not quite sure where to start, then again, these are a great way to get started. This one in particular, I'm just looking at, this is actually more turquoise than my camera is leading you to believe, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, this is perfect for a guy's card because it's monochrome. I've used all the greys and all the monotone cards from Lisa's the white core collection. Actually, I've used them from the grayscale set. Now this is the white core. You can obviously emboss these and then sand them back, but I haven't done that with these cards. Actually, both of these are white core cards. I haven't done them. There's just because you can doesn't mean you necessarily have to. They are a great card stock in themselves, which die cuts beautifully. It's a lovely weight, so it's perfect for layering. So let's get going. So we've done enough chat. It's nice to watch and see what is going. Now you'll see everything on the side here that I am using. You've got the compositions die set. So the zigzags and stripes. Again, I've given you the item code there, and you'll be able to search for that to purchase individually on Lisa's website from Friday. I'm also using a couple of other die sets actually, and you'll see where these slot in as we go along. I've also put on the scribbled flowers, so not all the cards are for the guys. Gives you a little hint there. I've also used an embossing folder, the PIPEWORK embossing folder, which is an A6. So this is perfect, and I think you'll really like the effect that I get with that is super, super simple, really is. And also I've used the bold phrases because I had a few of these made up and laying around actually. Now this set isn't in stock, but there are so many more sentiments available on Lisa's website, and if you do have these, then obviously these are a great one for you to reach to. But the sentiments is something that you can swap in and out and say it changes, doesn't it? And you know, depending on who you are gifting the card to or the project to. Now all of the cards I am making are aimed to fit on an A6 card blank. I don't have the card blanks with me because I'm going to just sort of keep them as toppers so I can add them to card blanks later. And you can see what I've done here. This is just ready to sit onto an A6 card blank. So I just wanted to sort of let you know that. But I've got a couple of other cards that I've made there for probably demos that I'll do next week. But I've also, for those, I've actually taken a 5x7 card blank, and you can see just by me adding that onto the 5x7, it also fits absolutely perfectly on there. So you can make the smaller cards, which is absolutely great and super ideal for sending in the post. But if you do want to make that something just that little bit bigger and put it on a different backing, it sort of changes the look of them. It sits lovely on those 5x7 card blanks as well, and also I'll show you that one as well. It just sets them off really, really nicely. There's one other card as well that I'm doing later on that is actually going to fit onto a square card blank as well, so you do have options. Now I've done a lot of the die cutting already, so as I say, I've done all the die cutting and I'm actually using Lisa's white core cardstock. So you can see what I've done here. I've just this isn't die cut. I've just managed to cut this into the A6 size. So let me just show you the size that would be. That is 10.5 centimeters in width by just short of 15 centimeters. So that is the base that I'm working on. So with this set in particular, we have the zigzags and the stripes, but this is very reminiscent of postage stamp, isn't it? And I know Lisa in the past has done the long die sets, the DL die sets with the postage look around the outside as well, and this is just like an extension of that. So if you do have those DL die sets from before, then you could even incorporate those in. The largest one as the postage, oh, I can't take it off there, as the postage look, but then we have the two nesting circles that fit in between for the layering as well. Now why has that gone to, there we go. There we also have a nice frame that sits within our postage set. So these are actually perfect for matting and layering. And if you find on another project completely that this rectangle is perfect for the layering that you're doing for that, remember that. So you can always use this. Obviously, I'd suggest you put this back with the composition sets once if you use it on another project. But you know, these just are really useful dies, even if you use them individually. So let's get going. Let's get going to see. I've already die cut myself lots and lots of bits. So here, just from a piece of grey card, this isn't white, actually, you can see on the messing mat here, this is grey. And this is what I've die cut from the postage set. And it's got the lovely stitching around the outside. So that will sit on my A6 blank. And then I have the rectangle that fits in between there. Again, the stitch detail. Can you see that? Actually, I can see that. Lift that there. Yes, you can see that the stitch detail matches on all of those layers. Right, I'm just trying to remember how I planned this. Right, let's get my glue. So I'm going to stick these as we go along. So this is very much a card that can have dual purpose, actually. Ideal for the guys, but it will be ideal for teenagers. Ideal for teenagers or anybody who has taken an exam and you want to say well done. And I'll just show you in a second why. So I'm just going to layer these. Now I'm going to be using glue for most of these, but if, as and when you get this at home, do replace the glue with 3D foam as well to create that dimension. There's going to be a lot of layers on this particular one, so it'll be a lot easier if I just use that with glue. Now what you can, let me just lay out everything that I've done here. I just need to try and get a little bit organized. See, there's lots of elements here, and I think you'll have an awful lot of fun. And what perhaps I would suggest is do lots of die cutting initially, and then play and just see what goes where. So if you die cut everything in all of your favorite colors, it'll be a really good starting point. So there we are. We can see everything that's laid out. So you can see these strips here. This die. This die cuts out 5 of these strips, really useful strips, and they correspond, as you can see, to the layers that we have here. So they fit perfectly. Everything has been thought out for you. If you don't want to do any cutting, you really don't need to. Say Lisa has thought of everything, but if you do want to cut down just to make things go further, then obviously you can. Then you have this die with the zigzags. I'm struggling to pick things up. This die with the zigzags, this will cut out for you 4 of these zigzags. And on one of the cards I actually put into the design team group, someone asked how I lined them up so straight and managed to stick them down. So I'll give you a little tip. I'll give you a little tip on that also. So I shall come to those in a second. I'm just trying to think what I'm going to do with them. Yep. Also, I've die cut this postage tag from this one here, and the largest circle, which is going to fit on the outside. So we have that in white, so I can layer those together. Now this is very much a monochrome look, and I'm just highlighting it with gold. Some of Lisa's gold Euphoria card. I've chosen gold. You can choose any other colour, but I think it's quite nice for a guy's card just to sort of go monotone and add one accent of colour. It could be their favourite colour, just to give that pop of interest. So I've layered that on. Now we have this cute little envelope here. This is what comes from these 2 dies. I must get some nails. There we go. So we have the little envelope die here. This gives you the line detail. Oh, that's come out of there anyway. So that's, this one here gives us the line detail. So that's what I've cut from gold. And this one here, it's a lovely little tag, and this just gives us the envelope that the line detail can sit onto. So in this case, I've die cut gold and I'm putting that onto white. A little bit later on, actually, I've die cut that and just using the envelope white on white, which will look really, really cool. And it'll be a lovely little accent for maybe Mother's Day card or a wedding card as well. So I'm just going to layer these 2 together. Now, if you all have the fine nibbed glue pens as well, they would be ideal for this. And I'm also waiting for those in the post. They're stuck at the sorting office at the moment. I don't know why they're not coming to me. I was hoping they'd be here by today. So we're going to fit that envelope on there. Now, the idea with this little embellishment is I want to create a rosette here. Now, I've used what possibly you would consider would be ideal for a sentiment, these 2 chevron dies here. So we have the largest one, we have a middle one, and we do actually have a smaller one. So you can actually create a 3-layered sentiment. I've used the 2 largest dies. So I've cut in gold and in white. So I'm just going to layer those together. But I'm not going to use these as sentiment tags. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to layer them. Now I cut them twice because I couldn't decide what colours I wanted, but I think I'll go with the gold onto white. So I can layer those together, and then I'm going to take my pair of scissors and I'm going to cut those in half like that. And then I'm going to attach those to the reverse of the tag that I've got here. I think I might actually use a little bit of tape for that, because I'll be gluing onto the glitter card, which takes a little bit longer for that glue to dry. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the top here. So I'm going to use the chevron ends so they stick out okay. There we are. So I'm just going to take that tape off the... I've forgotten how tricky this was to use. There we are. Okay, so we have the tape on the end, and I'm just going to attach those to the reverse of here. Now I'm going to make this second one just that little bit longer. And there you can see that we actually have a rosette style embellishment that can sit on the card like so. Actually, shame. There we are. And you can see just using that one pop of colour, the accent colour gold in this case, that makes that really stand out nicely. Now, before I attach that down, right, I was going to use these. No, I can't remember what I was going to do with those. Right, I'm going to add my chevrons first. So this is where you can, let's say, you can just play to your heart's content, really. So before I continue, I'm just going to add my chevrons here. Now I've die cut these in a glittery black card. You can just about see that perhaps, but it'll work in any color. And I think if I just show you on here so you can see that, I think the key to using these chevrons is or the zigzags, is to have them all lined up together like this. To me, I think it sits nicer on the eye where all the sort of the tails are going in the same order. Now you can obviously put these as close together or as far apart as you want. You get lots of different effects from that. Okay, but what I will do, I'll show you a little tip, and I'm going to take the first one, add my glue points like so. And I'm going to put this firstly onto the card, and I'm going to line it up to the edge of the card itself. I quite like the fact that it's going across the postage layer there. So we can leave that to dry. Now, one tip that I did give on the Crafting with Lisa Horton group the other day was that this is where Lisa's tea ruler is an absolute godsend to line this up. We have this area here which we can layer or butt up against the side of our card. So we have a really straight layer there, and you can see actually that I'm just a little bit off. So just before this glue dries, I've got that little bit of wiggle room, so I can actually use this part of the ruler here just to make sure and line up that chevron, so I know that that is laying straight to the rest of the project. So I'm going to leave the ruler there for the time being. I'm going to take just another one of these chevrons that I've already cut. I'm not going to stick this down. I'm just going to pop that into place there, because what I'm going to do is use that as a spacer. A bit like if you were laying tiles in the bathroom and you have those little pegs that you put in between each of the tiles. And then I'm going to take another of the black glittery chevrons that I do want to add to the project. I'm going to add my glue again. Excuse me, I'm not very graceful when it comes to this. I'm going to make sure my space is there, and I'm going to just line up this chevron underneath that spacer. Now, if you wanted to, you could again make sure that's level with the T ruler, but because we've got the spacer there and we lined up that very first chevron, you don't necessarily need to square that up with the ruler again. Now, just before that's set, so I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove that spacer, and we know that those two black chevrons that we have there are perfectly spaced, and it's a really good tip to use, and that will allow you to line up as many of these chevrons as you want to use on your project. So I'm just going to add the glue to both of these. I'm going to use 4, I think. I know you should use odd numbers, but I think in this case I don't think it matters too much. So let's pick those up. Now remember, you put your spacer down. And then you can add your next one. Use that spacer so you know that everything is all lined up. Now you could leave that there just until the others dry. That's entirely up to you, particularly if you have another set of spare chevrons, which I have there. So I'm just going to use that and line that up. But also, actually what I've done in doing that, you actually create another pattern which looks just as good, and I shall show you in a second. Let me show you that. I'm just going to switch camera, actually might give you a better idea. Look, you can see how that's lined up, but you can see here that we have the top one, we have no spacer there. We're just going to leave it sort of leave it open, but I actually quite like it with them spacers in as well, because that contrast between the sparkly card and the matte card, particularly with the different colors, I think that looks really, really smart as well. So yeah, you could actually leave those in, and if I just pop that one in there, that gives a really nice effect. So yeah, I mean, you have them as spacers, but you could actually keep them in there, and I think that works just as well. Oh, right, let me just prove the point and take them out and just show you what it looks like without them in there. I actually do quite like them in, so I think I might actually put them in a little bit. So there we go. But then we also have that there, which I think also looks just as smart. So you'd have to make 2 cards and do one with the other. Now, don't worry about this side here not meeting, because what you can do, you add your rosette there, and that just sort of completes the look completely. And then you can add your little envelope in there, and then we have a couple of sentiments in whichever sort of color combination you want. You can just put well done there, which I think makes that a perfect graduation card, or well done passing your driving test card, or your exam card, passing your exams. There's a whole host of different ways that you can do that. You can put happy birthday on there. I think that would work equally as well. I did have, where's my other sentiments gone? There it is. You could take that off there. You could put with love. You can personalize these in any way that you want. So yeah, that's one way. It's a really nice way to make a masculine card. If you don't want to do it as an exam card, you can just put with love, and you can either emboss on there, you can put another motive on there, you could even put the sentiment on there as well. I think that works just as well. Look, there is so many ways that you can use this. Change the colours, change the sentiment, and I think it's perfect. You know, you could even put the well done on there as well. I think that works just as well. So Father's Day cards, absolutely, yeah, be perfect for that. So that's one way to make or use the composition cards. Now, I didn't use these strips here. What you could do, you could also lay these strips on this way before you add the rosette. That would work as well. Lots of different things, lots of different ways to do. Now, because we do have the envelopes, which are perfect, all of Lisa's dies come into, keep all of these extra pieces that you've die cut, because you will probably end up using them at some stage. So we shall leave that one like that. Actually, let's attach those together. I will actually, there we are. Let me get a foam pad or two and add that to the card, like so. And then we can put our sentiment on there. So that's one way to use set D. So we pop that over there. Let's pop you back on the larger camera. So the next one we will go to, we'll go a little bit pretty, do something a little bit different this time round. So again, I've done all the die cutting, so it's all the same elements as I was using before. Again, I'm using the A6 background. I've die cut 4 times with the postage die, 4 colours. You can see each of the 4 colours that I've die cut this from, and I die cut this 4 times, as obviously with each of the colours. And now each of those layers I have split into 4 in with these marks here. So I went across, and then I separated each half in a different place, so top and bottom. So we've got like this, it can come back together as a jigsaw puzzle basically. Now I use straight cuts. I just use Lisa's new trimmer and just done the cuts themselves. If you wanted to, and I was thinking about this afterwards, if you have the fundamentals die sets, then that would be a really nice way to separate those also. You can cut this layer into as many different pieces if you want. I've done straight cuts, but perhaps go diagonally and then piece them all back together, which is what I'm going to do. So basically at the end, when I finished this, or when I first started prepping, actually I should say, I had the potential to make 4 different cards. You can see this one that I've done here, I've done it exactly the same way. It's going to be slightly different because obviously I've used the different jigsaw pieces in different places, but that's how it sort of comes together. But it does give you the option just to create a different look in the background. Now you could die cut this and emboss it. You, especially if you're using the white cord, you could then emboss it and then sand back those details as well. But I'm going to piece these together now, and I'm going to turn these over, but I need to keep them in the right orientation so I know that they all go together in exactly the same way. So I've just turned these over, so I'll be working on the reverse, and I'm going to use a little bit of tape to pop them back together. Now I'm going to do this. I shall do this with, oh, my screen keeps disappearing. So I'm going to get myself 4 bits of tape. I'm going to put these back together. It's nice to be able to keep though the stitching in line. because it will make it look as if it's all meant to be. So I'm just matching up with the sides here and the stitch line, and just making sure that those layers and all come together nicely. So I've just gone across each of the pieces there. So now we have one piece back together. If it doesn't quite match up, don't worry too much, because we will be covering a lot of this with the embellishments that we're going to add on to. But it's basically given us a different look to this postage cut layer. Again, this is all about ideas. And the more ideas that we can give you to get you started, as well as the 4 that Lisa gives us, then that's great. You will have ideas of your own, which we won't even think of. So we really look forward to seeing those come into the group. Now I'm just thinking, I'm not going to stick them down at this stage. So we've got this layer that's going to sit on there. I have my larger circle, which I'm then going to use another die to layer on the inside there in white. So I will die cut this circle in white to sit on there. But before I do that, I just want to add some details on. Now here you can see I've got these strips that this piece have die cut. And I've done this from Lisa's holographic card. And these colours work so well with all the colours from this is the Mermaid collection of white core cards. So you've got purples and greens and blues, which is to sort of reflect perfectly what we have here. Now I'm going to use this tiny little piece of card to die cut this circle from, but before I do that, I just want to add a couple of strips. So I want to add some interest to this circle that I'm going to die cut. So I'm going to add these strips on first. You could do this afterwards, but the advantage of doing this first is that you will get the stitched design from the circle onto these holographic strips also. So I'm just going to that's noisy. Did you hear that's what my Hazel bark? So I'm just going to put 3 of these strips down like this. 3 is a nice number, I think. Looks good to the eye. So make sure they're down. I'm just going to trim those off at this side, just to make sure it goes through the die cutting machine a little easier. And then I can die cut this strip. I'm not going to put the dies in the centre. I'm just going to offset them like that. So I'm going to bring out my little die cutting machine that you got here. Let me just take that off of there so you can see what I'm doing. So this fits through my little desktop machine, which is just perfect. And you can see, if I take that out, that we have a nice die cut circle. Actually, I should have let the glue dry a little bit, but if you were doing that at home, you'd have the time to be able to do that. We have a nice die cut circle with a little bit of extra interest on there, and that can be layered onto this purple layer. So hopefully my glue will work. Okay, so we put that in the center, and now that can go and cover all of the different layers and the joining of the background there. So I think that could possibly sit there. Now what I have done is used the scribbled flowers, the one that we have here, die cuts. I thought this would be really nice and light, but you can use any flower for this, any of Lisa's die cuts. And I've die cut it from the same holographic material, and what I can do is just sit that as an embellishment with the flower over that central area there. Now I've also done it in white. I couldn't decide which colour would look best. Oh, they both look nice. Which do you think? Let's put this. We could have also done this in black as well. Oh, what's this? Lisa's given away little. I've missed that. Yeah. And you want to super pretty, and we have some leaves. Oh, is that new things, Lisa too? Oh, Lisa's watching on a big TV. She can't help herself but give away little things. She's got to get herself in trouble. But it's good though. Keep on spilling, Lisa. We like it. Okay. Oh, I can't make up my mind. I think, I don't know. I think I might go for that one. What do you reckon? I think I might, I don't know. Can you see the colours on that? Yeah. I don't know. I'll leave that off to start with, I think. And what I'll do, I can make up my mind afterwards. So I'm going to glue this down. Make sure that the joins have enough support in the back as well. So I'm going to lay this down. Now you could actually create another matten layer behind this as well. I do actually quite like the simplicity of it going straight onto the white cardstock. I think it makes it look nice and fresh. Now we could have the flower sitting like this. Oh, we've got so many options. I don't know. We could have it like this. We could have it like that. I don't know. Right. Decision made. I'm going to put it like that so we have those stripes going that way round. Now what I have done, I've done that little white on white envelope here, which I thought would be really cute just to tuck alongside the flower like so. I think it would be really nice for a nice little Mother's Day. Nice little Mother's Day card. Now what I've also done, now you'd notice here I'm not using the zigzags, but I am using the different layers of the tags here. The ones that I used as the tails for the like the rosette on here, you remember? I'm actually using them as the sentiment this time. So I've die cut the largest one from white, the second largest one from the holographic card. So I shall layer those up first and allow those to dry like so. Now this one here, I've taken one of Lisa's pre-printed sentiment labels. It's the ones that were foiled. I've had them for ages and ages, and I keep dipping into them every so often. But I used it on this card here. You can see that happy birthday is also a foiled label, and this is exactly creating the sentiment the same way here. Makes it nice and simple. This smallest of the these dies does fit out and just about fits that text into the size of this. Now with a little bit of lining up, using the width of the label and lining up the die over the top of that. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I tape that into place and then tape that onto my cutting plate. So I've stuck the label onto a little strip of white card, and then I'm going to die cut the label and the white card with that smallest of the layering dies. Hopefully you're still with us. Hopefully when you take that away that you can see that little label has been die cut perfectly and it fits perfectly onto this tiny little banner die, which can now be layered onto the other two banners and create a super effective and simple little sentiment banner. Okay, I just need to hold that in place just for a second so that takes, because that's onto the holographic card. And then I'm going to use tape onto the back of this because I think it'll be a lot stronger. It's a lot wider. Okay. I'm not looking at the comments there, and I have a feeling I'm missing out on an awful lot of chat that's going on. I think Lisa's new scribbled flowers. Oh, I didn't see that. Ah, exciting. Super exciting. So we have this lovely little sentiment here that we can fit on the bottom of our card. Where do we put that? I'll put that there, I think. I actually like the freshness of this card with the white. Oh, that's not very straight at all. This is where I need, oh, there we go, that's better. I haven't put it very central anyway, but you can see where I'm going with that. So we have a completely different look, actually. I can just tuck that little envelope in there. I think it'll be ideal as a little Mother's Day card as well. I think for that, you don't need to use the little envelope as a postage thing at all. But actually, I'll just show you this flower here. I've used some of Lisa's, again, older design papers, which I had tiny little bits of, perfect for layering up those scribbled flowers onto. So that's another really nice way to use those cards. Completely and utterly different look from anything that Lisa has shown us on the prompt cards, and also completely different to the one that we have here as well, but we're using the same set. So this is just how brilliant these composition die sets are, and there are 6 in the set, I think. So if you have managed to get them as a bundle, you've got endless amounts of designs and different styles of card that you can be making. So one more card. I won't keep you too much longer. This one is super, super simple. Again, I've done the die cutting, and it's going to be probably the simplest card that I've done this afternoon. So I have the original holographic card from Lisa that you can see here. This is the deep navy blue, which I love this colour. Love this colour. And I've also cut these chevrons from that as well. So I can line up those chevrons. I shall stick these down a little bit later, actually, and make sure that they're straight. So you can see here that I'm actually creating a square card. I've got my postage layer that I can add here. That's in the navy blue. So that in itself, you can see just how well that fills a square card. So although I've been making A6 cards, you're not restricted to that size. You can use a square card or the 5x7 as I showed earlier on. So I'm just going to move those up here. Now, all I've done also with this is used, let's bring in the pile of dies here. Do you remember we have this second layer that sits on top of the postage set? So it's just the pure rectangle die, which has got the stitching on. So from black card, I've just die cut this layer here. Now I've die cut it twice. This is the effect that we're going for. Look at that. This is with the metallic inks onto black card. And I want to show you 2 different ways of how you could do this. So I'm going to put my die back there. Now I've chosen to use the PIPEWORK embossing folder because it would be great for the guy's card. It's an A6, but again, this would work for any of the embossing folders that you have, absolutely any of them. Now there's 2 different ways of doing this. As I say, I've already done the die cut and I've embossed just a normal piece. Oh, where can we see that? Let me do this. There we go. You can see that I've already embossed that. This is just pure black card without anything on. Now what I'm going to do is bring in I'm going to move that out of the way so I don't get in a mess. Like that. I'm going to bring in the inks. Now I've chosen to go with the titanium and the coastline. These are metallic inks. You can also use the interference inks, and they would work just as well. And this is as simple as taking your ink pad and just swiping the ink over the embossed detail. Now at this stage you can't necessarily see. Now this is the titanium. If I lift that up, look at the colour that you've got on there. Just how pretty is that? This almost, you can almost see a steely blue effect in that. I just love that, really do. Now you can go over the whole lot with the one colour. You can mix and match colours, which is what I did earlier. So now I'm coming in with the coastline. Again, this is metallic. And I'm just going to put that over the top. And again, you possibly can't see as much at the moment, but just bear with me. If I lift that up, look at the colours that you've got in those. I just tilt there, I tilt that to the window. Look at those two colours together. Now, honestly, actually in real life, this looks way, way better. The vibrance of the colours that you can see is just brilliant. Now I'm just going to tap that a little bit, just so as I don't get ink all over my fingers. But you can see that. Now you can either do this one of two ways. You can either emboss the card first and then swipe the ink over the top, or the other way that I wanted to try was to take your blank piece of card, this is for embossing, and you can add your ink to this. So I'm just going to tap the ink. You can see there, you can tap the ink onto the unembossed cardstock. And you can see what I'm doing there. It doesn't need to be perfect. You can if you want, but I'm just going for the sort of the mottled look that you can sort of see there. Because what I'm going to do now is then put it through the embossing folder. I'm just going to move that and clear that out of the way. So, as I say, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Now, this is going to give a different effect because you've got more of the cardstock that has been coloured. So I think it would just be really interesting to see the effect that the two different techniques can give you. So I'm just going to run this through the machine. Okay, so I'm just going to take that out now. And you can see the effect that you have there. Slightly different. So it really does depend on the look that you prefer or the folder that you're using. But all I want to do now, and it's really just so simple to create the card, take your favourite piece, layer that onto the holographic card that you can see there, and just finish simply with a sentiment on the side. It's super simple, but I think that is just so effective. If I can just show you that, look at the colours on that. I mean, if that isn't a perfect guy's card, I mean, I think I'd be happier with that as well. Imagine doing that in pinks and greens and the yellows and the golds and things as well. I think it's just so perfect. You really don't need to do much more than that. And that is, say, where these composition cards are. There we are. That's perfect. These composition die sets really do come into their own. And again, this is just one set to play with. And I've got 3 different cards for if we bring in those ones as well. So they've got so much potential, and I think you will really enjoy playing with these. And they say this is just one set, and I shall be back with you with the other set that I have next week. I won't keep you too much longer now, but that is just hopefully just a little bit of inspiration just to get you started. What's this? I shall have a read in a second and see what else Lisa has been. Oh, your inks, Lisa, are absolutely amazing. You know I am an ink person, and if I can bring a little bit of ink onto most of my projects, but yours are the only inks I reach for now, obviously, but it's certainly not a chore, and I really don't miss not using other colours or other inks now. I go for yours because the effects that you get from them, the blending that you get from them is just so perfect. You always manage to get the effect that you want from all of your inks, especially your metallic inks. I've searched for years to get a metallic ink that I'd be happy to continue using, and yours haven't disappointed at all. So just before I go, actually, what I will do, I shall be back with you next Tuesday, and I shall use the other set of compositions that I have. I have set B, which is the hearts and bows, and I will do some stenciling with these. So I've got a couple of cards which have got a completely different feel to them as well. So I shall do a version of these cards next week, just show you that you can use all of your stencils along with these compositions as well. You know, once you start getting a little bit more adventurous, this is a set that I'll be using, and I should be creating similar cards to these for next week as well. But I've enjoyed using set D with you. Keep a lookout for them on Lisa's website. On Friday, they'll be coming to you individually, and also in the meantime, don't forget we have our competition as well. So if you have your die cutting machine from Lisa, do share with us. Use the hashtags Lisa Horton Crafts and Platty Green, and you could be in with a chance of winning a fabulous prize on Lisa's Friday Night Live. So thanks for joining me, everyone, and I shall see you all again next week.